Surprise introspection. The captain. The club's owner is an elusive man who kept to himself, and his work's usually in another region than others expect, popping up without notice to check on things and manage the bar. Morgan had often caught them at their most vulnerable moments, around 3 p.m. of a Wednesday afternoon with a quarter of their staff with a surprising clientele flow. A few afternoon work parties to release the midweek steam. "How the interviews go, Felix?" Morgan had asked, sitting on the floor of the bar hours before opening. Felix was at the bar mid-sip when the owner patted his shoulder. The bartender had been at the end of the bar turned the other way. If it were some woman's husband, he would have been a dead man. "Where's the security?" Felix thought, trying to make out the reflection in the mirror behind the bar. "Where's the security?" Morgan had asked, not moving his hand from Felix's shoulder. Felix Ray Hernandez had choked in his drink, staring in the mirror at the only man he held fear of on Gaia. His forehead had become sweaty, and the heat of the fireball did little to calm it. He had nearly forgotten to swallow and was too scared to cough. He struggled through the flaming cinnamon whiskey burning down his throat. "Where's the fireball?" Morgan had asked. I only was taking a few shots, I swear. The bottle is right here." Felix grabbed the bottle and set it down. He had nearly wanted to pull the bottle back, realizing he had gulped down half the handle. "Pour me a shot, a martini, and a cocktail as you're choosing." Morgan had nodded his head. Felix raised a pencil eyebrow from behind a pair of Gucci shades. He was struggling with the response as his tongue clicked, his eyes pacing, sizing Morgan up. You mean now?" Felix asked, thinking he might get out of at least stalling, which was his usual control tactic. "You're not doing shit else." Morgan sat down at the bar and then turned to the bartender. "How'd the paper go, Lucas?" Lucas Nagabe had started at the bar by chance. He was standing lost one night but seemed to fit in fine. He caught Morgan's attention, and after a quick chat, Lucas went behind the bar and been keeping back since. The student at Nadia Institute of Technology usually strolled through once a week, living in the apartments a block up. It's going good. I haven't had too much time with it serving, Lucas responds. "How's everything with you?" Morgan raised his hand, gesturing he wasn't going to respond to the question. "Do you need fewer hours? I know someone who would love to work doubles." Morgan looked at Felix with a grin. "Why isn't Felix back there helping you? As busy as it is in here, you're sitting on this side of the bar. Get some work done here when it's slow. There's a computer in the office through the kitchen. There's 1, 2, 3, or 4 parties out there. We must be a lot of drinks. Why don't you help Lucas, Felix?" Felix had heard the grenade pin click before he got behind the bar to find 2 chocolate brown eyes turning a deep crimson red with direct eye contact. Felix knew lying now would be a waste of time. Morgan had asked an immediate question and waited intensely for an answer. "All right, Deadeye, you got me. It's because I'm a lazy fuck, Morgan. What do you want me to say?" Felix groans. Morgan breaks out laughing, his eyes turning brown instantly. It was one of the few times Felix saw him off guard. He couldn't help but laugh himself, continuing. "I was gonna help, I promise, but sometimes this job is stressful. I need a couple of drinks. I'm sorry, boss." Felix shook his head, pouring a fireball shot, then grabbed the shakers, tossing vodka, ice, honey, and locally crafted blue raspberry schnapps with a baby cherry tomato from the same farm, vineyard and distillery in Graham. "I call it the one-night stand. Ladies love it. Well, guys love it for their girls. I call it the roofie." "How much vodka did you put in there, Weinstein?" Morgan asked, aggressively holding up the glass. "I figured, hey, you're the boss. You deserve a boss drink." Felix smiled, his easygoing smile to a man who was unmoved by the gesture. "Where's the love at, man?" Felix asked. "With all the extra money you poured in this drink, I'm the boss, Yeah, I might splurge on beer and wings because we have a fridge full of that. We don't sell. And the beer comes in fucking keg bought locally. That's a bottle of water vodka. Do you know how much that costs? Felix smirked at the chance to revel in his knowledge of liquor and narcotics. It's my favorite drink. Of course I know. It's top shelf, classic mine distilled. This vodka goes smoother than water. They should call it air. Felix giggled, trying to bring back an easygoing vibe. Morgan looked at Felix, then to Lucas. Lucas, if this is top shelf, why was this in arm's reach? Bro, he told me I just work here to mind my business. Lucas responds with a shrug, setting up a tray of drinks for the server. Lucas, from now on, this bar is your business and your vault. I do not care who steps back here. The bartender has full and final authority over the bar. Mark that and tell the other bartenders. This comes directly from my mouth. Morgan waved his hand. Do you want your cocktail? Felix asked. I'm here to work, not party, Felix. Try the same before I replace you with a bottle of vodka. That was your inspection and work review. You got a C because of your smile, or else I would fire you. Clean the VIP area. Bring some bleaching gloves. Heard the club was busy this weekend, and a few girls got fired for thoughtin'. Who told you? Felix asked. I get the financial reports directly to my watch. It also shows me my calls and a live feed of the security cameras. Morgan taps his wrist, showing the regulator technology designed by Nadia. Everyone tells on everyone. It's shockingly deceitful. Half the time I hope you all can figure it out alone, but most times, it's not. Felix noted that, looking around casually at the enemies he had made looking upon the one man, they shared all their loyalty from the interview. He let out a sigh, feeling remorseful. Are you alright, boy? Lucas asked with a wide grin, nudging Felix as he watched as well. No. He realized his job is at stake. I know everything. Nor has he moved to scrub. You misunderstand the pecking order here, Felix. Morgan shook his head. What do I hire you for, man? Come on, Morgan. You're my boy. Felix raises his hand. Captain Ellys. Morgan stone-faced him. Now answer my first question. What? Felix asked as the liquor began roping around his stomach and releasing through his mind and body. Are you talking about the tryouts? Yeah, right. Yeah, I got you, boss. No worries. Your man Felix has it all covered. I'm not gay, Felix. You're not my man. You're my employee. I didn't ask you if you had it covered. I asked you how it went. I want a full play-by-play. Morgan lightly places a finger on Felix's chest, wrapping it into a fist as he pulls himself to stand, looking Felix straight in the face. It was standard, man. A bunch of half-naked thoughts willing to do whatever for money. They're not what you're looking for, bro. They would be doing whatever for a tip. Felix tried to assure Morgan. Someone disagreed. Tangerine said her cousin applied and he didn't even pay attention to half the candidates. There was one you outright tossed away because she rallied against you. So why isn't this in your report? Morgan asked, releasing Felix. I need you to understand how serious this is. You cannot do that again. Ever again. Felix rubbed his chin. Alright, bro, let's be real. Bartenders are a certain breed. Security is a certain breed. Strippers are its own species entirely. Reliable and respectable strippers? That's a unicorn in a field of donkeys. You get it? Alright. A woman who wants to get naked for a living and still needs you to be morally sound and respect her. That's rare. The girls here would never date a client. They wouldn't even be their type. These chicks today were coming here looking for the payday of the century. Your wallet, boss. They were only here for you, fangirls. The others weren't strippers, and they knew too much. Maybe if you could serve a bartend or work somewhere else you own. But bro, they aren't cut out for the stage and these clients. The hours are too long, the work is too demanding, and the business is too rough. That's the truth. Morgan asks Felix eye to eye. It's true, Felix says with conviction. Then what breed is a manager? Morgan asks, leaning forward. What breed is a manager? Felix asks aghast. Yes. What you're supposed to be. What breed is a manager? Morgan asked, leaning on his hand, rubbing his chin with peach fuzz or a freshly stripped goatee. I work with everyone's role and make sure it runs smoothly despite my workers thinking only about themselves. At least he's considering it, so he can act accordingly. Felix shrugs, giving his best answer. What does act accordingly mean? Lucas asked. Well, you know, situation calls for X, an employee only wants to do Y, then a manager must help them Z. Most people are just stuck, man. Felix grabbed the cocktail. Man, you missed out, boss. This one night stand is delicious. The honey was a fine touch. Felix compliments himself. Morgan chuckles, admiring Felix's grandiose self-applause and bravado. It was something he struggled on. Everyone else viewed Felix as extraneous titles and names, but it seemed so normal to Morgan. He motioned for 2 more cocktails, nodding over to Lucas to finish up to join them. Morgan scanned the dance floor. He was focusing on his employees and their movements. Morgan was sitting in the perfect seat to see every open area in the bar. He often had an undercover security guard sit there because the vantage point gave the entire bar clear sight. Most guards had a post where they can only monitor their area, and perhaps what was nearby, but it was limited. The club has a busy feel with the servers and even kitchen staff needing to bring out meals. The girls were getting paid better than some night shifts. Each party had only about 10 to 15 people, give or take the men in the bathroom or VIP. Only about 50 people, but the bar and kitchen alone. They were racking up the dough. His mind was running with ideas of how to capitalize upon the new business model, though his imagination lacked ideas. He put a pen in the idea of returning to his employees as they settled down with their clients. Man, I don't remember the last time I worked this hard, Felix said, topping off 20 shots on a tray, a dozen mixed drinks for each table, followed by 3 more immediate orders. We should charge them for the whole bottle by now, Lucas said, holding up the bottle. It's more expensive to pay per shot, Felix notes. The upsell of a bottle will completely ruin a business. Morgan applauded him with a smile alone, nodding his head and toasting his drink. Felix graciously accepted, raising his cocktail and clinking glasses with Morgan. Lucas lifted a bottle of Yingling to join the toast, pushing the cocktail aside. Lucas knew he was a lightweight and wanted no part of the drinking with either. Both could drink their weight in vodka and rum before falling over themselves. He sipped the beer to be polite, then returned to his work. So you're going to stay in town this weekend, Morgan? Felix asked, polishing off the cocktail and setting the glass aside. Morgan was sipping his glass, hoping the question would fade after the allotted appropriate time to answer. Felix intended for a yes before Morgan had the opportunity to work somewhere between hell and parts of unknown again. The man always returned with war stories and strange tales. Felix thought he should have a drink and a blood enjoying the sights before him. You see that, boss? Vera Cruz, the gymnast and exhibitionist. Her eyes are all over you, boss. She asked about you the other day. She never asked about you, bro. Felix nods to the stage, but Morgan didn't turn around. The beautiful Maya-Nadian woman was hanging upside down by her ankles. Her eyes were set on Morgan as if no one else in the room existed, as she sheds off her leotard. Felix keeps catching glances at Morgan. The poor guy saw everything without seeing anything, watching the bar in the mirror, astute and diligent for trouble. It was how the military raised him. He saw her, but his attention was on everything within the 170-degree focus. He paid things second by second, analyzing everything around him. He wasn't even paying attention to Felix. She slowly flipped herself back to her feet, dropping into a split before leaning back, pushing herself onto her hands and back onto her feet, free from the pole in her leotard. She walked toward the end of the stage, staring right at Morgan for a full 20 seconds, with her arms crossed before leaving the scene. The song hadn't even stopped, and there was no repercussion because he didn't care. Bro, you didn't see Fiera Vera Cruz eyeballing you, dude. I think you pissed her off, bro. Teach me your ways. Felix lunged in, needing answers. Yeah, Fiera wasn't hired to dance for me. Now, is she? Morgan sighed. It was nice, but she needs to get over that. Morgan giving a hint he did notice, sent Felix spiraling into even more significant confusion. She's paid to dance, and she wants to dance for you. It's so hard hiring girls because all they want to do is dance for you. We have to tell them you're up in that dome ahead to raise morale. Felix shakes his head. Explain it to me, bro. She's one of many women, I can say the same. There are even more in those files I've never met. Even more outside this place I've met. There are even more outside this region watching Karma Cruz's stupid show, or worse than Carmen. They're all the same to me, Felix. They're always trying to find something to turn their nose up, or mad at someone. They're headaches, man. I've met a few of all of them I shared my bed with, but for the most part, I keep to myself, man. Morgan finished his drink, setting it aside. They're beautiful and fun, but I have other concerns more important than who I fuck next. I guess that's my trick. Why did you even buy a strip club? Lucas asked. If you don't like it. To tell you the truth, when I bought this place, they told me it was a restaurant. That's funny. It wasn't until I scoured through the financial statements that I realized that they made the majority of the money off of prostitution. I had to read about 10 books on accounting and bookkeeping before I realized I was screwed. A real estate broker set the whole thing up while I was in Erdu. None of my other clubs have strippers. Nearly every employee but the servers are women. Why do you ask? That's because men have respect and follow orders. Women have this entitlement complex of where they belong or deserve. I hate dealing with them. I hate that mentality, period. Are you gay, dude? I've heard rumors you slept with half the women in this place. Lucas gave it ear. I guess they were rumors. I'm not gay, I'm single, and it wasn't half. It was like 10 of the girls. We only have 25 girls on staff, bro. Felix counts in his head. Maybe 26 with Jax if you count her. That's still less than half, Morgan protests. You and Jax, bro? That's savage. Are they the headaches, or is it that you're sleeping with all of them? Lucas cocked his head. Why are you having sex with them then? No, it's that I don't have sex with them. I don't do anything to get with the girls, Felix. We end up having sex once they get too clingy and they think they'll make a relationship. It's like they use sex to bargain, or it was after a party at my apartment around here. Never for long, and never more than once. That's the rule. It was nice at first, but no, man. Being 2,700 miles away with 25 women asking you where you are and why you're not with them is the most aggravating circumstance I can imagine. Well, I don't have to imagine. I do. However, I enjoy ignoring it. That doesn't sound too bad to me. No one ever calls or texts me out of work other than the call off, Felix pouted. Yeah, well, you put up with it. Morgan tosses Felix's cell phone as it begins ringing with Vieira's face on the screen. That's your problem now. Keep it. The boss stands, stretching out all the way and preparing his short lap around the club to check in with the rest of his staff. First was to the kitchen where Jax and Meredith were speaking. When he walked in, both looked up dreamily and then at each other with answered curiosity. Hey, sweetie. Jax kisses him on the cheek. Morgan. Meredith hugs him, moving to kiss him. Morgan lifted Meredith's chin and pinched her cheek. Hey girls, how's everything? This place looks astounding, clean as usual. We could probably make this one of the best kitchens in Nadia. He struggles out of Jax's grip, smoothing out his suit and resting his hand upon Meredith's waist. I have to drop off an order. I'll be right back. Meredith pats his cheek, then rushed off with the empty tray. Jax had thought it was hilarious she ran around the metal kitchen counters, returning to the flat top and grill. She lifted the two steaks that had been marinating in a metal bowl with tamarind, sage, basil, and honey with stew broth. Morgan's eyes had begun growing in his skull as Jax laid the steaks on the grill. They sizzled, searing to golden brown perfection. She watched him, licking her lips as he watched her cook. You hungry, baby? Jax asks as she flips the steaks over with perfect diamond grill marks from decades of experience. Morgan swallowed, feeling the weakness in his stomach as the insatiable appetite within him began to growl. It was something he attempted to suppress, but all the same it rattled at him. Gnawing at the bars of his will, he feels caged behind trauma and a life of military training. Still it howl, the dreaded wolf, ever hungry. I need to continue my rounds, Morgan said sharply, turning about face and marching out the room. Once he was outside the doors, he held his heart as it pounded. The steaks looked so delicious, and few women in his life had Jax's curvy shape. The woman had breasts to feed triplets, and a proportionally sized waist worth 50 inches of love. Having lost his mother so young, she nurtured him. Precisely what he feared most. He didn't want to lose himself in the affection before it disappeared. No one could replace his parents. Even if the memory of them was faint, he knew they were there. The twisted fantasy came from the darkest roots of his longing. Morgan, are you good? Isla Hun, an Ashen server, asked, patting his shoulder as she entered the kitchen. She had a soothing touch, leaning against him with her soft, delicate skin. Your heart is racing. Bad memories. I'll be fine. Morgan held back his words, looking for his supervisor so he could hurry along with his day. What's on your mind? Isla asked, unwilling to let him go. I'm a good listener, I promise. He knew it to be accurate, having shared many of his stories and takes privately with her. They shared the longest relationship with an employee he had. His love for her was different, a deep philo connection, rather than an eros attachment. I don't want to talk about it, hon, he says, using her last name. Tell me about something else then. How are things at Erdu? She asks positively, hoping to get some conversation out of him. He spent less and less time in Nadia as of late. Morgan's face dropped for a second as she hit the source of his tension, and the reason he wanted to escape to Nadia for a short while before returning. Erdu was always a topic of such joy. Isla had no idea what she did wrong, watching his face wrestle with pain and grief. It's dreadful. Like a nightmare. The Nakan bankers are buying up the land, sending people in the civil war. Everyone's blaming the regime because the regime occupies the land throughout the Rhinelands and Relic Mountains. The wildlife, the people, the whole grass of Erdun and Erdu is out of balance. Yet still, the bankers keep swallowing the world. The regime keeps killing in the name of peace and profit, and the people run around like ants without a queen, or chickens without heads. Isla frowned, letting him go. What happened to you? He looked her in the eyes. The question brought a solitary tear from his eyes. He looked unmoved, as if he hadn't noticed the trauma and pain he wore so proudly. Morgan opened his mouth. His memories repressed through constant trauma and lost to retrograde amnesia and repression. Numb was all he could offer instead of complete apathy, and his empathetic soul refused him for giving in to pessimism. The question began to piss him off, knowing the answer had been dreadful. Get the fuck out of my face, he mutters under his breath, shaking his head. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. Ayla was taken off guard. He had never taken such a tone with her before. You think you can offend me? You think you stand a chance of hurting me? Morgan asked with a grin. Girl, you're confused. Ayla shocked. He wasn't defensive at all. Instead, he stared at her like a bullseye waiting for a trigger. She had dealt with abusive men throughout her life and had towed the line to safety. She wanted to press forward. Perhaps a few months ago she could have, but something happened. A mission. Something. Recently, what mission? She sat down, folding her hands together. You have my attention. I don't want your attention. Morgan states with a dead-eye look. Stay out of my head. Stop trying to figure me out. I already stated my problem. It's Erdu. Isla felt panicked, noticing the dark cloud floating overhead. A dark force feeds on Morgan's energy. She held her tongue, witnessing the unspeakable darkness consuming him. She avoided eye contact, removing her attention from him. Morgan sat down next to her as a waitress walked up. Hey, Morgan, it's good to see you. She was unfamiliar to him as well. He gazed over. His mind was elsewhere. Isla shook her head. He needs food. Do you want anything to drink, sweetie? The waitress asked out of habit, regretting it immediately. Yes, he says. He only wants water. Isla interjects. A black bear, please. Morgan corrects with disdain. Don't speak for me, woman. What on Gaia is a black bear? The waitress raised her eyebrow. A Jack and Scotch. 2 parts Jack, 1 part Scotch and cream, he states. Can I see your ID? The waitress asks. Morgan glared at her, his eyes having their way beyond romance. He grounded himself, making direct eye contact with the waitress. I am Captain Morgan Ellys of the regulator regime and your goddamn boss. Give me my drink and a steak. He hits the table, knocking off a slab of wood. Morgan! Isla pinches his arm. What am I doing? I'm signing your paychecks and authorizing your direct deposits. Give me my damn drink. I'm tired of your questions, he asserts. I want 2 steaks, potatoes, and a beer, or find a new damn job. There are a stack of applications. You will not disrespect me in my establishment. Asking for my ID? What do you think this is? I need to know if you're driving tonight, sir. The waitress attempts again, trying to be sincere. I'm sorry. You think I drove from Rakuta Erdu on the other side of the world to Exigo Nadia in 10 minutes by car? You have no idea who I am. None of you damn people do. Please, give me my space. Follow my orders. It's straightforward. He waves them off, needing to breathe as life caught up to him. Sir, What? He asks, interrupting her. I told you to go follow my directives, cadet. Now go. Move it. Move it. Go! He fixes to open her mouth again, then rushes off to the bar to tell Felix to put in Morgan's order. Isla felt crossed between tears, anger, and humility. She carried out his orders, shaking, wondering if she still had a job or not. When did you become such a dick? You were a sweetheart the last we spoke. She couldn't hold back. Her heart ached. I was never a sweetheart, and I was gallant. Morgan sighed. I saw it firsthand. All of it. All of these aimless wars. Isla looked away, not fully understanding him nor even able to sympathize. He was moving into an ocean of death she had never trodden before. Her stomach began to feel queasy, and her mind raced, recollecting all she's been hearing of Erdu. The messages of it being a great place, and its discipline, while the regime tramples across the world. She felt like a guppy swimming in the infinite ocean, merely trying to catch the current. The depth was all-consuming. One needed to know how to swim with their fins or to be a slave to the river's current. The guppy wanted to comfort a manta ray, believing able to catch its bearings. Felix approached with Morgan's drink, serving the Erdun special for depression. Your finest whiskey and scotch with fresh farm cream, with a mint garnish, all in a sugar-rimmed rock glass. Felix had a shot for himself of scotch, bringing one for Isla as well. A toast to fascism, Morgan's sarcastic tone accompanied by an eye roll and a long chug of his drink before slamming the glass on the floor. Isla blinked, thrown completely off guard by his sudden switch in behavior. She tilted her head. The 2 years of a psychology degree between switching around majors taught her regression was a defense mechanism. He didn't show fear or anxiety in his bones. He had rage and confusion. He seemed more like a child trying to reason with an insane world than the debonair man who was riven above it, appearing to be one of the men pulling the grander strings. Perhaps he was just a boy having his first lesson in life after all. Yeah, I can imagine seeing so much so young takes effect. I know people who have shattered psychologically. I can't imagine the toll the military has taken on you. Isla tries once more to empathize. It used to. Honestly, not anymore. Not now. Now it's just my life, right? I can't let it keep getting to me. How about I live? Am I right? Big dog? He asked Felix, holding out his fist for a pound. Too true, my dude. Too true. You can't be letting the past chase you. And calls you every day. Is eventually a yesterday. Word to mother. I'll catch you. Can't run from it. Can't chase it. My mother said, embrace your mistakes and make it better. A toast for good mothers. He throws back his shot and returns to the bar to prepare another round. She strained, watching him hide the pain and ignore his emotional wounds. The pain she felt for him was overwhelming. Isla hugged him for her comfort, clinging to his seemingly unwavering strength, damaged but not down attitude. I want to help you. You can stay with me tonight. We'll watch movies and eat ice cream. He lifted her chin, and the mistrust fled his eyes as he lowered his guard, letting her run her hands up his back, rubbing his neck with both hands, trying to relieve the stress, pulling his shoulder blades together as if he was bounded. The muscles in his back pushed through his suit jacket, and the handsome ebony face looking back at her made her swoon. She held onto his lapel, looking her old friend in the eyes. She wondered where the boy she knew had gone, but the man before her left her wanting for the future. They made eye contact for a short moment. Morgan, we shouldn't do this. She bit his earlobe, whispering to him, let's get out of here, Isla. He turned to her suddenly. He was so close he could steal a kiss. She was soaking wet in his hands, waiting with anticipation for him to kiss her. But all the same, they made eye contact, knowing she spoke with the voice of reason. Shivers ran through her spine. She pulled her chair closer, resting against him as she massaged his shoulders. He gave up his fight, letting out a heavy sigh and relaxing to her grip. He had rarely felt release without sex, but her hands provided all he needed. He closed his eyes with a person behind his back. He almost fully relaxed until the server returned. His entire body began without his eyes being open. Feeling her approach, she tread carefully, setting the food down on the table, then leaving the two. He found himself surrendering to Isla's touch. He had gone days without sleep, working overtime in the business of murder. He spent the past month in the dense jungles of Erdu. He found lambs seeking a shepherd as the villages in Erdu scattered by war and commerce. He had walked down the darkest path with hopes of success. It seemed a bit more futile looking at the fear in Isla's eyes. She had tried so hard to be sympathetic. He looked away from them, feeling as close to embarrassed as a conditioned psychopath could. He looked at them, understanding their fear and validating their fears. I'm sorry, he finally mutters, rolling his eyes as if they had been overreacting. At least I didn't do anything. You guys are acting like you see an actual dead body. At least I stopped myself. Just get home safe and rest. Isla pats his shoulder, not understanding him. My shift is over soon. If you want to take me up on my offer, she insisted, I can keep rubbing your back if you want. You can get what you wanted. You mess around trying to save me, you'll need to save yourself. Please, stay away from men like me. Only break your heart or kill you. Morgan states, looking her in the eyes, sharing a glimpse of his pain. Love doesn't live in here. Morgan, what happened to you? Isla tries once more. He smirks. The devil himself is hunting my soul. Tell me straight, she demands. I did. I'm the devil's weapon of war. It hurts, Isla. My soul hurts. He fights the tears, grabbing the black beer and drinking it like tap water. Colin wants me to become his heir and to lead the regulated regime into every region in the name of the Gregor family. Isla blinked, unable to hear any more. He saw through it all. Age had allowed enough contemplation and reason to know he fought for the side of evil. The fear and confusion came from his so-called comrades, who didn't know their feces had smell. Far removed from the droppings of chaos they left in the name of peace, profit, and order. She hoped someone could help him. It would take an act of God to save his soul, and his faith was fleeting. His belief in anything but the assuredness of death had left him. He knew one day death would find him, and it would be all over, and he would finally be himself.
Blazing on the track, boy.
I'm $1 million rich, I'm $1 million bitch. You see me win and see me doing $1 million shit. I know you wanna see me cry, but I'm drying up my eyes. No fuck boys, no fake friends, I'm the only one to ride. Look, they say they gon' rob me, you see how I'm living, you don't wanna do it. They say they gon' stop me, but I see that bag and I'm getting right to it. Ballin', ballin', I just get right up and do it. Ballin', ballin', I just made millions with music. I'm not a flexer, but boy if I flex I'ma do it. You heard I was next up, so that mean that I'm getting right to it. Stop tryna buy me, shit I already got that in the closet. You was just a side piece, I'm making a day with you, saving your wallet. You know I'm a boss bitch, so what can you do to come match that? Too thick for these bands in my pocket, so I spent 60K on the backpack. Hair laid, nails done, ayy, shot call in one. I just get right up and ball, bitch. I do not shop at no mall, bitch. They say they looking, they can't find me, no, cause I'm way in front, you behind me. Catch me after 9, I'm a dime piece. Before then I'm working, I'm grinding. I heard I'm a problem, I heard they gon' rob me. Told them pick a side and stop siding, cause one day they love you, the next day they hate you, but they just gon' learn if they try it. I'm $1 million rich, I'm $1 million bitch. You see me win and see me doing $1 million shit. I know you wanna see me cry, but I'm drying up my eyes. No fuck boys, no fake friends, I'm the only one to ride. Look, they say they gon' rob me, you see how I'm living, you don't wanna do it. They say they gon' stop me, but I see that bag and I'm getting right to it. Ballin', ballin', I just get right up and do it. Ballin', ballin', I just made millions with music. $1 million